Hi, I'm Sofia Bernardi, mindset and business coach supporting ambitious new and rising coaches to master their mindset, create an aligned and profitable strategy, and grow a six-figure business and beyond using the Rising Coach method. I built a $500,000 business by the age of 24, and in this podcast, I will teach you the psychology, strategy, and energetics to do the same. Let's dive in. Hello, and welcome to another episode of Rising Coaches with Sofia Bernardi. In this episode, I'm going to be sharing with you 5 things you don't need to make your first $5,000 in business. So on this podcast, I spend a lot of time talking about what you should do or what you could do and the things to do to grow your business. But in this week's episode, I'm going to be sharing 5 things you don't need to do to make your life a little bit easier. So let's dive straight on in, because this is a quick wins episode where I just share you a quick snippet of an action you can take today that's going to support you in the growth of your business. So let's dive in. Number 1, you don't need a website. Now, don't get me wrong, I love my website. It has supported me to grow my business, but not from having a website alone. It's from everything I do to actually get people onto the website to begin with that matters so much more. So if you're just starting out and you're working towards your first $5,000, you do not need a website. Now, a lot of you listening to this probably are like, but I already have one. And that's okay, because you will eventually use it. You'll eventually come back around to it. And look, if you've got it, for sure, use it. But it's not your top priority. It should not be your top priority, because unless you have people to go to the website does nothing at all. So make sure you focus on growing an audience, creating a community, and helping people and adding value to people. And you can do that on social media and through conversations. So prioritize that. So you do not need a website to grow. So if you don't have one yet, don't worry about one. I literally know people that make millions and millions of dollars and don't even have a website, okay? So I'm not saying it can't add any value and it can't support you, because it can, but only if you have certain foundations in place. So if you have one but you haven't made your first $5,000, just park it to the side and don't prioritize it just yet. Focus on building relationships with people. So that's number 1, is you don't need a website. Number 2 is you also don't need business cards. This is quite outdated. Of course, like everything, it serves, a purpose, and it's not a complete waste. But I certainly spent money on business cards, and they still sit in a little pile together where I've barely given any out. Like, it just doesn't help. What actually helps is get people to follow you on Instagram. If you're right there in a person with someone physically, get them to whip out their phone and type in your name on Instagram, and they can just follow you right then and there, and you can exchange contact details like that. That's actually far better, because most people that get a business card then lose the business card, and then you have no way of contacting that person. So just know you actually don't need a business card in order to make your first $5,000. Number 3 is you don't need to be on every social media platform. When you're making your first income in your business, simplicity matters. In fact, I'm 4 years into business, and simplicity matters more than ever before. I love focusing on less equals more, and doing better at less. And so just know that you don't need to be everywhere doing everything all of the time. You need to pick 1, maybe 2 platforms and get really, really good at that. Number 4 is you don't need to pay for subscriptions. Don't get me wrong, subscriptions have changed my life and have supported me so much, but not in the beginning of my business when I didn't even know what I needed and what they did and things like that. So if someone's telling you to just get this subscription because they have it, that's not a reason to get a subscription. You should get a subscription when it is costing you time or money or effort or energy to not have that subscription. It's actually slowing the growth of your business down, so that you're really intentional with the investments that you make, and that there's research backed, by them, and maybe even recommendations from your coach, whoever that may be, to make sure that you're making the right decision. So you don't need subscriptions. I did everything, that I could manually in the beginning, because you have capacity for that, what a great problem to have something to do in your business. So if a client signed up to work with me, I manually sent them a confirmation email, I manually sent them the terms and conditions and the contract and things like that. They're things I did manually. Now it's all automated. There's subscriptions, the systems in place, because I outgrew what I was doing manually. But in the beginning, especially if money is tight, you can do do a lot of things manually, yes, it will be a little bit more work, but it will be work that you want to do because it's involved like in signing a client, which is really, really exciting. And number 5 is you don't need everything to be set up before you start. This is a common misconception. I know it feels so much better for your brain to be organized and setting things up. That's a way more comfortable thing to like have everything ready and perfect and set up. But if there's one thing I've learned from this journey in business is that there will always be something more to do. There will always be things to do, things to focus on, things to change, things to improve. And so it's never all going to be set up. So just dive into it. Start before you're ready. It's the biggest piece of advice I can give you. So if you're waiting for that sign to go out and just go help people and get things moving, even if it's scary and uncomfortable, this is it. Is just start before you're ready. So in summary, you don't need a website. You don't need business cards. You don't need to be on every social media platform. You don't need to pay for subscriptions, and you don't need everything to be set up before you start. They are the 5 things you don't need to make your first $5,000 in business. I hope that this episode has served and supported you, and I'll see you in next week's episode. If you thoroughly enjoyed this episode, I'd greatly appreciate it if you could take a moment to hit that subscribe button. Your support fuels our mission to bring you even more valuable content every week. It truly means the world to me. My promise to you is that if you go ahead and hit that subscribe button, I'll continue making incredible episodes such as this every week to help you to grow and scale your coaching business. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next episode.